Good morning, everybody. It's VinnDogg inside SuperRadioMix.com, the world's official mix station. DJ Cali Boy, the mixologist and producer of the morning show. And I always have to bring special people on the show. And I as promised, I will do it all 2020. And I got the man live from the CPT, Mr. OG Suicide. What is happening, my brother?
Hey, what up, family? What's good with you?
Oh, man, I'm just having a lovely day, man. You know, every day I wake up, I'm like, you know what? It's a beautiful day, you know?
Man, every day above ground is a blessing.
Yes, sir. Amen to that. Now, I want everybody to know who OG Suicide is, where he comes from, and, you know, and all the good stuff.
Oh, most definite. Well, I'm, OG Suicide, Compton, born and raised. I'm a suicide survivor and an activist for suicide, suicide prevention.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And let everybody know, like, how this all came about.
Well, December the 31st, 1991, I actually attempted suicide from a crisis of, how I was living as far as me. I was homeless at the time, was 21 years old, no guidance, had been living homeless for about like 2 years, man. And, I was doing everything I could to survive, to stay afloat, but the devil had took over me.
Boy.
And I felt like I had came to the end of my ropes where there was no purpose or no reason for me to carry on in life at that time. I really thought it was bad,
Right.
And with no guidance, with no one to talk to, December the 31st, 1991, I actually took a gun and put it to my head and pulled the trigger.
Wow. So after all that just made you have like some thoughts like, hey, wait a minute, maybe this isn't for me. I'm not supposed to do this, right?
Yes. After I, woke up in the hospital, when I first realized I was still alive, I was disappointed in the beginning.
Mm-hmm.
And once I was released from the hospital, I pretty much was still living how I was before I wanted to attempt suicide.
Right.
And I was still homeless. But in my mind, I realized that there was a purpose, there was a reason for me to be here, to carry on. And I knew it wasn't my turn to go.
No.
So from there, I pretty much, man, I said to myself, like, I got to get my life together. This is very important, for me to get my life together. I'm here for a reason. And I really started getting myself together and really made up my mind to do something about anyone that would ever walk in my shoes or come in the situation that I came face to face with.
Mm-hmm. Now, let everybody know this is if this is true or not, because I believe it to be true. People that are attempting or contemplating or even commit suicide, this has no financial or background boundaries. This is like with everybody, right?
Yeah, it has no color line, no age limit. It don't discriminate. Suicide is real. We have kids, man. We have 7-year-old kids that's committing suicide.
That's sad.
From being bullied in school because of the way they are. And who they're choosing to grow up to be in life.
Right.
And people are attacking them, It's sad, even cyberbullying. Bullying is more aggressive in these years than it's ever been in any years in the past.
Yeah.
And when you got young people, like I said, 7 years old, 8 years old, 9 years old, 10 years old, that's committing suicide. I've seen a report before where a 7-year-old kid had committed suicide, and that type of stuff, it bothers me.
And those numbers are really high.
Understand what goes on. Yeah, because sometimes people don't really understand what goes on in people's minds, or somebody will say, "Oh man, I'm tired of living." Sometimes there is a cry for help, and a lot of times people ignore it and be like, "Oh, you just talking." And then when it happened, they're hurt because you're going through the pain of contemplating and considering it, but you really hurt your loved ones after the fact that it happened.
Right.
Because that hurt would never go away. The hurt that you're experiencing of your life situations or how things are can go away. Because every storm cloud will dry up.
Now, I read some crazy statistics, and this is nuts to me. And you know what? I'm thinking, they say that more than 65 to 70% of the world's population has thought about it at least once. in their life, even if it was for a
Yes.
blink of an eye. That's crazy to me.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, people do. It's real, but it get kicked under the rug. People ignores it. Like, okay, it exists, but okay, go on with your life. Like, no, it's serious. It's serious like the climate. It's serious like war.
Right.
It is very important, and it needs attention.
Because
by ignoring it. And the key thing, too, most people, they want to give you medication.
That's not going to solve it.
And they feel like that's going to help you. And they used to give me these pills called Senequans. Senequans will make you sleep for days.
Oh, my goodness.
I already tried to sleep.
Yeah.
I'm trying to live.
Right.
I stopped taking the medication. I got better. The medication will make you feel more miserable than you do dealing with your everyday life.
Especially when those pharmaceutical drugs are made in China.
Yes, I stopped taking the medication, and I mean, here I am now, man. 50 years old, father of four grandchildren.
Right.
I mean, life is good, man. Life is good. I have no complaints, and I live a life, and my mission and my calling is to educate people, with my music, to get out there and speak about this, to be the face of suicide prevention, because I know what they're going through. I know how it feels. I know how they feel. But I want to let them know that life gets better. There's nothing that could go on in your life that could ever make you want to take your life.
Exactly.
There's nothing so bad.
Right. And, it's a trip to me because, I looked up everything on you, and people around the world are being touched by this because they're all going through it.
Yes. Yes. I mean, I get messages from people from all around the world, Russia, Nigeria, Haiti. I mean, this everywhere, family, from all around the world, all walks of life, all shapes, form, fashions, every color, every skin tone. Every age bracket. I mean, I be having 12 and 13-year-olds reaching out to me, telling me I inspired them, that they was thinking about suicide, but they seen one of my videos, and it made them think different. And if I could pull through and do something different and make a change, then they can too.
Right. Now, I'm gonna discuss two people with you, and people would never think that these people would ever think about it or do it, and they did. The first name, Robin Williams. All right.
Yes.
And the second name, Kate Spade. Her husband said, "Oh man, she looked happy, but you never know what happens with these people when they go behind closed doors."
Yes.
And these people are well off.
Depression. Depression. Financially, you can't remove depression financially.
Right.
You just can't. No matter how rich you are, that can't resolve your depression. There be things going on in people's lives that some may not understand because they haven't experienced it. Like Robin Williams, like one of my favorite actors.
Right.
One of my favorite. And when I seen it, I was blown away by it. Because you never know. Even Chris Lightly, you never know.
Exactly. Yeah.
You never know what a person is going through, family. You just don't know, man, unless they open up and tell you. And that's where I wanted to create, and I use my platforms to advise people to open up and talk to somebody. Because if you don't feel like there's someone you can open up and talk to, then who do you talk to?
Absolutely.
Because as soon as you tell somebody you don't want to live no more, they think you're crazy. They want to get you to the mental hospital, then they want to get you on medication. Like, no.
That's not the answer. It's not the answer.
That's not the answer. No, it definitely is not the answer. So that's why I push so hard, and I speak about my experiences of what I went through to show people. Talking about it will relieve the pressure. Too much pressure, a bust a pipe.
Absolutely.
If you talk about it and let it out, it relieves it. You feel comfortable. And once you get comfortable with expressing how you feel with someone that's not going to laugh at you. I mean, a lot of people laugh at me when I got out the hospital, and they seen me with this bandage on my head.
Right.
From me surviving. People laughed and joked about it and thought it was funny, to them.
Wow.
And I didn't let it bother me because a lot of the people that left had good upbringings. I was abandoned when I was 18 months, found in an apartment, placed in a foster home, and then kicked out the foster home when I was 16.
Wow.
So a lot of the people that left, they had their mama and their daddies, had a good times, good life,
right.
You know, holidays. They was loved. They had that love
right.
that I had never experienced. Miss Price, who adopted me, yes, she loved me dearly. She loved me right or wrong. If I did right or wrong, she loved me.
Unconditionally.
But just that whole family structure, there's a difference. Me wondering why was I left in an apartment? Why was I abandoned? Why was my life like this? I grew up not knowing literally who my flesh and blood family was.
Right.
I found out as I got older, but it's like they're kind of like strangers to me.
Yeah, there's no connection.
I technically don't know them. I didn't grow up around them.
Yeah.
So people, that's why, like I said, I work so hard to get people, even people in the foster system. Like, man, this is who I push for. I represent foster youth. That's one of my hashtags. I represent foster youth. I push for the foster system, for the foster kids, for anybody that's going through something in life and don't know who to talk to. I'm right here for 'em.
Because everybody knows, and you know this personally from personal experience, that the government foster system is not good.
It's not good.
Yeah.
It's not. It's really not. Because you never know where the kids might end up at. You know, they come from a damaging home for the reason that they was took, but then they end up placed in an even more damaging environment.
Right.
Some people only adopt kids and have foster kids for the paycheck. They don't care about the kids.
It's terrible.
They care about the paycheck. Okay, this is a check. It's a job. They get 6 foster kids, and they getting $2,000-$3,000 a kid. Look how much revenue they have coming in.
Boy.
But they don't actually care about the kid. There is some that do. But for the most part, there's a lot of people that don't care about the
Wow,
kid.
that is sad. Now, I want people to know where they can reach out to you at if they ever want to talk or if they just need help, you know, because I know you're reachable. You're always approachable.
They can call me, 310-938-9376. 310-938-9376. I've been at this number 17 years. They can also hit me up on Instagram, OG Suicide, OG CUICIDE, OG CUICIDE.
Yes, and yes.
On Instagram.
And also, I want to get into something that I'm really excited about, and this is a cut off of your new album. It's called On My Grind. Now, I know you've been working in the laboratory on this one big time. Now, how did you come up with the concept for this whole entire album? Because this is really good. The album is fire.
Well, OGs are forever. You know, there wouldn't be no school without the old school.
Absolutely.
And OGs are forever, no matter how you look at it. You know?
Because without the old school, there'd be no me.
Bracket, yeah, and once you reach that 40 bracket and on, that's where the OG-ness start. You're an OG.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm hitting 45 because I'm an OG.
You an OG. Yeah, you 70. You an OG. It's like OGs are forever.
Now, who's featured on this record, On My Grind? Because it really sounds good.
On My Grind is an artist named Indy B from out of New York.
Okay.
Who's on the hook. And that's me, the only person rapping on there. And I mean, I'm always, since a young cat, I've always been on my grind. And in order to be successful, in order to make it, you have to be on your grind.
Absolutely.
Mandatory.
And you did not get here by accident. I'm going to tell everybody that right now.
Yes. No accident.
And let everybody
On
know where
your
they can
grind.
pick up your music, too.
Well, my music is available on Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon. It's available on all digital platforms. And if they want a physical CD, they can reach out to me on Instagram and hit me up, and they could get the physical CD from me because I have physical CDs as well.
And that's OG Suicide on IG, CDs, folks.
Because yes, OG Suicide, OGCUICIDE on Instagram. You know, my overseas fans still like the CDs, still buy the CDs. So I have to press up CDs every time I release something because they want it.
That's beautiful, you know. Man, I really want to thank you, and it's a blessing and an honor to finally get you on. And we're gonna get into this joint right now because DJ Cali Boy is nodding his head like he wants to cut into it right now. So he's like, I want to play this joint, man. Come on! I love the interview. I love what you guys are speaking of. I want to play this joint. Because you know what? I gotta tell you, man, this kind of reminded me of like an OG Bone Thugs and Harmony kind of flow on this record.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Yes, this song is entitled On My Grind. Ladies and gentlemen, OG Suicide right here, VinnDogg in the morning, superradiomix.com, the world's official mix station. We turn it up and get loose.